Before diving into the ideas on how to fix your impact, I kicked off the last video by addressing what I believe are the most common mistakes of golfers when it comes to their approach to the game. In the next videos, I'll focus on common technical misconceptions. Let's start with keep your head down. You've probably heard that 1,000 times. The fear, one might even call it a trauma, of excessive curiosity is so widespread that it often emerges in conversations far removed from golf. Imagine being at a party where no one else plays golf. You mention the passion for your sport, and someone might actually ask you, "Golf? Isn't that the sport where you're supposed to keep your head down?" I've analyzed 1,000,000 swings, and I'm still waiting to see the first top shot caused by looking up too early. In fact, even students who hit the ball fat, leaving a massive divot, often ask me if it happened because they looked up. The truth is, focusing too much on keeping your head down is a big problem. It distracts you from what is really important in the swing, and it puts unnecessary strain on your back and your neck. A lot of golfers who do this either miss their ball flight completely, or they see the ball so late that they can't tell which way it started. And if you can't see where the ball goes, how can you figure out what went wrong at impact? That's why I recommend removing keep your head down from your list of worries. Instead, watch the ball as soon as you hit it. Countless golfers see turning the hips in the downswing as a miracle cure. However, more hip turn almost always leads to more shoulder turn, which pushes your hands and your club head to the outside. For golfers who already swing out to in, a more pronounced hip turn is counterproductive. I understand the logic behind the advice, turning the hips more while keeping the shoulders quiet. But the benefits are questionable, and it requires a level of coordination that most golfers simply don't have. In rare cases, when the club comes into the ball too much from the inside, leading to push hooks and overly pronounced draws, turning the hips more can help, provided they are only parallel at impact. If that's not your problem, you can safely cross the hip turn off your list too. When I analyze my students' swing on the screen, I sometimes get the impression that my words go in one ear and out of the other. I then halt my explanations and ask what's on their mind. A standard answer is, my left arm is not straight at the top. In this case, I see no point in continuing to talk about their laid-off shaft or their open club face. If I ignore the student's worries, he will probably implement my corrections half-heartedly because he has got a different agenda. So I usually show him that his arm is straight at impact. In this case, he would not gain anything from straightening his arm at the top of his swing. If his arm is also bent at impact, I show him that his club is approaching the ball almost vertically because it's coming from the outside. In this case, he's just avoiding injury by bending his arms and pulling the club up. That is why I recommend eliminating the cause of the bent arm, which is the steep downswing, in the first place, and then deal with the effect, which is the bending of the left elbow. Any correction that increases the radius at impact is only useful if you hit thin shots or if you hit the ball off the toe. I concede that the swing does not look as elegant when you bend your left arm at the top, but if the impact demands other corrections, it is better to postpone any cosmetic ambitions. The impression you make on others is influenced more by your ball striking than by the look of your swing anyway. I don't tell beginners to shift their weight. Instructions like these often result in the upper body swaying back and forth uncontrollably. Weight shift is not an end in itself. While there is a weight shift during the swing, it usually happens automatically as the club and arms move to the right in the backswing and to the left in the downswing. Unless the deviations are extreme, there are typically more effective ways to improve the ball flight. What truly matters is the position of the head at impact. If the head is too far left, I call that drudging. If it's too far right, I call it shoveling. In both cases, it's worth examining the weight shift. Drudging reduces the loft at impact and causes the club to swing down more. And shoveling increases the loft and causes the club to swing up more. These directly influence the ball flight, so I recommend addressing them if the flight matches the issue. For instance, if your body and hands are too far behind the ball at impact, you're likely to hook the ball, to hit it too high, to strike it fat and thin. Conversely, if your body and hands are too far ahead of the ball, you tend to hit shots that are too low, thin slices, sky drives, topped fairwaywoods or hybrids, or even shanks. However, if your mishits don't align with where your head and hands are at impact, you probably got a different, bigger problem to worry about. After a slice, I often hear golfers diagnose themselves by claiming they didn't shift their weight properly on their left foot. While the weight shift and the slice might occur together, the insufficient weight shift is certainly not the cause of the slice. In fact, the opposite is true. Your slice will worsen if your body and consequently your hands move further ahead of the ball at impact. So most golfers usually can also remove weight shift from their list of worries.